Xiaoxie smiled and muttered, I have finally waited for this day, so I can sit on the tail and save people to put my name at the top of the list, and I am the best walking champion this year. He smiled and said, Thank you, little second brother. If I hadn't met you, I would have taken this road, which is really a great blessing in misfortune. According to their chatter, they chatted some more homely words, and soon the little evil finished the account and rushed to the stagecoach station. There are already many people waiting for the bus at the stagecoach station. It's not a big place, a table, a few benches, that's all. Sitting at the table was a 40-year-old Confucian scholar, full of beard and dressed in a blue robe, who looked like a businessman, and he was keeping accounts. As soon as Xiaoxie walked into the stagecoach station, he walked to the Confucian Sheng. Hello, can I take a ride to the Central Plains? He repeated according to Xiaoxie's words. He was afraid that he would have to walk to the Central Plains if he made a mistake. The blue-robed Confucian stopped settling accounts, looked up at Xiaoxie and said softly, Where are you going? Xiaoxie, I want to go to the Central Plains. The Central Plains, there should be a place in the Central Plains, too. You can't ask us to take you on a tour of the Central Plains. Xiaoxie thought for a while and smiled, It's okay to Kaifeng, I heard that it's very lively there. He often came to the town again to listen to some strange stories, especially Bao Qingdian's Kaifeng mansion, more deeply imprinted in his mind, thought about it again. He only knew a Kaifeng, a Beijing city, that's it, and now finally learned to apply Kaifeng 2 words. He answered neatly, a very deep impression when he heard it. Kaifeng is very lively, but you have to go. The little evil exclaimed, Why don't you have a carriage? Don't you do this business? It's not that you don't do it, but you only do it in Lanzhou, and you have to change the line number in other places. Xiaoxie breathed a sigh of relief. Lanzhou is okay, I just didn't have a goal. Okay, then it will cost $3 or $5 to Lanzhou, pay first and then take the car. Xiaoxie has never been in a carriage. He thinks that of course he has to listen to other people's carriages, and 3 taels of silver is not much, so he reached out and took out 4 taels of silver and handed it to the Confucian student. Confucian didn't speak or look for money, but only wrote some words on a piece of paper that Xiaoxie couldn't understand, and stamped a seal and gave it to Xiaoxie. Confucian Sheng, wait a minute, you will get in the car as soon as the car comes. They will stop halfway to let you eat and relieve your hands. If you want to buy dry food, there is still time, and I have a first-class position for you with the remaining 5 yuan, so that you can sit more comfortably. Xiaoxie nodded and showed a habitual smile. Thank you, I'm going to buy something. By the way, how long will it take for you to get to Lanzhou? Confucian Sheng, no problem, it will be there before sunset in 2 days, soon. Xiaoxie smiled, turned around and walked out, and thought, of course it's fast, it's much faster than walking. In the street, the little evil muttered, What do you buy dry food? I will not be able to wear these ragged clothes when I go to the Central Plains in 2 days, and I will be thought that I am a beggar if I don't get it, and I am not allowed to enter the city, so it is better to wear something new. As soon as his heart was determined, he immediately bought some dry food and clothes and quickly changed out of his old clothes and rushed back to the post station. He was afraid that he would not be able to sit in the carriage, and walked to the Central Plains, which was really the first stay in the world. Not for a moment. A stagecoach with 6 horses had already appeared in the east of the town. The group hurriedly got into the car. The 2 charioteers raised their whips and hissed, and the carriage was gone. Even if Xiaoxie sits at the front, even if he is first class, it is not comfortable, but by the window, he can browse the scenery outside the window, and his arms have more room to move. From time to time, he beckoned to passers-by, trying to find out if there were any ascetics like him, so as to vent his boredom. Soon the passengers with the car are asleep, only the little evil is still looking around with excitement. The first time to take a ride is always a strange stagecoach to leave Lineong Station, 3 hours later to Chuanxing Station. It is late, everyone eats something, change into 6 healthy horses, and rush overnight. The nocturnal walker has poor vision and walks very slowly. The flying sand rises again, the cold wind hits people, looking at the sky in the distance, the handle is lonely, and it is more reverie. The excitement of the little evil did not diminish because of the arrival of the night, and I saw that his eyes were bright, and from time to time he was enjoying the night world outside the window. The little evil eye has been soaked in potions for more than 10 years, and he often appears in the Mota Lake. Therefore, the double day is like a night owl, and he can see thousands of miles at night. As long as there is a light source, he can star. If it is said that in the secret room that is completely impermeable to the light, he still can't see the surrounding scenery but instead uses listening to the sound to distinguish the position, because the eyes need light, in order to see, and the strength of the light, can practice the eyes to adapt. If there is not even a little light, then can only be visible and not see its kiss. There were a few wolf howls in the distance, bitter and sad, and a little haste. When he heard this, he felt uncomfortable in his heart, and he thought, in this wilderness, the howl of the wild wolf cannot be so rapid. Could it be that there is a carriage ahead? He had already heard the sound of the wolf group encountering its prey and not daring to attack, and the wolf's prey could be a human or a beast. Looking back at all the passengers, I saw that they were all asleep, and they didn't seem to feel the slightest sign of danger in the future. Shaking his body slightly, the habitual little evil touched his sleeves and chest, checked the flying knife, and in the dark, he already felt that the danger was approaching step by step. Soon the wolf croaking in the distance turned into a fierce roar, and then Xiaoxie was relieved. Since the wolves had attacked other prey, they would not attack other things, and breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaoxie gently shook his right hand to practice the knife gesture, and there was no place for heroes. After an hour of driving, Xiaoxie had already seen a group of wolves gnawing on a cow in the continuous sand dunes. If these wolves rush over, it will be really difficult to deal with, but fortunately, there is a dead cow, which saves a lot of trouble. A peaceful night. The carriage has arrived in the big city of Wuivai. The first thing Xiaoxie did was to find a guest, take a hot shower comfortably, and then exchange the silver ticket, and now he has money to spend. I bought dozens of caddies of wine, put it in a gourd, and prepared to get drunk and fall to the ground. Xiaoye is now a millionaire, and he is indispensable, walking 8 masters, and he looks like a villain. The carriage stayed for an hour and then hurried on. Xiaoxie has been sitting in the car for a long time, and he is also familiar with the passengers, talking and laughing lightly, and he is also happy. As soon as you leave the city, it is a wasteland, uninhabited, shoulder to shoulder, and there is no passage outside the driveway. A gust of wind and sand rose on the plain to the left of the road, and the sound of horses' hooves resounded throughout the land. Xiaoxie looked at it and said secretly, "Wow, wow, wow, oh." He found out that it was a group of bandits. "Grandma Blackskin, my old man has just changed the silver, and you guys are here, okay? There is no place to hide now, although it is really unlucky, damn. I am still wearing new clothes. I see that it is not the same as the color of the head, fucking Grandma Blackskin, leper 10. He looked at the new clothes on his body and laughed helplessly. Looking at the passengers, seeing that they are all simple and lovely, if they are robbed, God really has no eyes, just touch their heads, do not know how to deal with the impending crisis. Soon, he said to himself, the old man said, First keep what you care about, and then ask for the second. I had to surrender first and then fight back, okay. That's it. I didn't expect the Central Plains to be a messy place, it doesn't seem to be fun. Not long after, more than a dozen thieves drove horses and galloped to the stagecoach, and this group of bandits, all roaring and laughing, showing their teeth and claws, were extremely arrogant. As soon as the chariot found the robber, he was furious and whipped his horse, and he kept shouting drinking. The carriage rushed forward like a gale. When the passengers found out that the robbers had stopped them, they were all panicked, some screaming and some crying. I saw a leading thief, holding a ghost-headed knife, chasing after him. After all, the carriage was slower than the horses, and it was stopped by the robbers in a short time. Ha ha! The robbers laughed in unison, they knew that it was harvest time again.